So today we're going to look at the difference between whose, whom and who. Always confused and very easy to get wrong, so let's make sure we get it right. Even the English people get this one wrong. I'm going to teach you the right way. Let's dive in. So my name's Dan and you're watching ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com. Let's have a look at the first example. We're looking at the word who. Who. So first let's just think about how we say it. So the word who is like this, okay? Who. Now, this is a word we use when we're talking about the subject of a sentence. And it's kind of in place of he, she and they, but it's when we're using either we're talking about a question, so who did this, or who is that person, when you're looking at a subject, for example. So for example, let's have a look at the examples we've got here. So who is going to the store? Who is going to the store? Which person in this, which subject is going to the store? Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Do you know who called me last night? So this is slightly different. Do you know who? Okay. Again, this is a kind of referring to that subject of the sentence. Who made this beautiful painting? Who made this beautiful painting? So again, you want to find out the person that it is. It's like almost like a subject pronoun type of thing, so he, she or he. Okay, there's a way of remembering this, but we're going to look at it a little bit later in the video. So, one performing action, going, called, made. Okay, so remember these are the verbs that you need to link to that word. Okay, so who went, who called, who did, who made, whatever. There are many other things that you can put with that, but just let's stick with those because you can see the pattern there. Okay, so let's have a look at the one that English people and American people and English speakers in general get wrong. Many people don't even use this, they just use who. This is whom. Now, when do you use it? What is this word? Well, actually, what you need to remember is that whom is referring to the object of the sentence, okay, the object pronoun. So it's the person that the action is being done to, okay? For example, if I ask the question, whom did you invite to the party? You is the subject, okay? So you can't use this with who. So whom did you invite to the party? So who, this third person, not as in the grammar, but this other person in the context, okay? So this is the person we're talking about. This is when you use whom. Whom did you invite? Okay, so it's not about you, it's about the other person, the invitee, the person with the action done to them. The author whom I met at the conference signed my book. Again, that person had the meeting, the action happened to them. To whom should I address the letter? To whom should I address? Okay, so which person should this address be at, be to? To whom should I address? Now, I will say that when you use this form, it feels a lot more natural to use the word whom. But actually, whom did you invite to the party? I'll tell you this now, this is one that English people always get wrong and very rarely use, including me, I have to say, that they often say, who did you invite to the party? You'll hear this all the time. You will very rarely hear this used. In fact, I've even read in certain articles that people are saying you shouldn't even use whom here because it sounds like you're trying too hard. But you know what? If you want to get the English language right, then you need to use it. So please make sure that you know the rules, and if you want to break them, you can break them. That's up to you. But know the rules first, okay? Okay, so the next one, or the last one on the list, is whose. Though this is a possessive pronoun. So for example, whose book is this? Okay, now it's used to indicate ownership or belonging. And it's like not to indicate but to inquire about. So this is what's important about it. So whose book is this? Here we have the question. She is the one whose proposal was accepted. Okay, so the proposal that she owned. So whose proposal? Her proposal was hers. Do you see how it works? She was the one whose proposal was accepted. Now remember, you can get these slides and you can go through them again. I would recommend that you do that, this one. Just look through these, look through the short descriptions we've got here that give you an idea of what the rules are here, and just go through it again and look at the examples, and you can see how and why we use the words we use. And I think you'll find it very useful. And then of course you can test yourself at the end to see if you got it right. Okay, yes, I met a man whose brother works in your company. I met a man whose brother works in your company. So the brother belongs to the man, you see, the man whose brother. And this is how you can show possession, or show that person has a possession, without saying this is his brother, okay? Right, so what's good to know is it's about used when something belongs to someone. So just remember this. But we'll look at a few tips and tricks in a second. Okay, so let's have a look at some tips and tricks to remember. So there are the ways you can remember. We've gone through them in the slides, and you can remember that who, for example, is for subject and whom for object. But this is kind of sometimes a little bit complicated to think about. You can do a trick, and this is the way to find out. So a simple trick is to ask the question, and then is the answer he or him? So if it's him, then you will use whom for the question. Okay? Now, remember, both ending with him, whom. Okay? And then we have, for example, have a look at this. For the question, whom did you see, or who did you see? Think about the answer. I saw him. So there you go. Whom is the right one, because did you see? Also, sometimes if this is here, then you will understand as well, but not always. Just take it. Be careful on that one. So, whom did you see? That's a nice trick and a good way to practice it, a good way to work out how to do it. So remember that whose is possessive. We did speak about that before, and it's about ownership. So if you can replace it with his, her, or their, or our, then you can understand that whose is the word to use. Whose jacket is this? This is his jacket. Okay? This is our jacket. Whose is this? This is his. Whose is that? This is theirs. You see what I mean? You can do this. It's a great way to learn it, and it's a great trick to have to make sure you get these right. Whose isn't usually the problem. It's the who and whom that's the problem. And now you know the difference, and now you know the rules. So remember, you can test yourself by getting this video here. Click on it, a few minutes, all you have to do, answer a few questions, and you'll get your level at the end. I really recommend you do that if you haven't done it before, because it will help you to understand where you are, and you know, it makes you feel better about yourself. Maybe you'll have some better level than you think you have. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, go through those slides and learn those rules.